Scaling back homeschool in the month of November has given me a lot of time to think, to process about the general fit of the curriculum I have chosen for my kids for homeschool, mostly my son. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am a mom to 4. I love to homeschool, I love to read good books, and I love to share both of those things on this channel. So I'm really glad you found me. And if you are also interested in those things, please consider subscribing and checking out some of my other homeschool videos. But as for today, this is the second video in my new series of homeschool wins, where I like to just really celebrate the positive things that are going on, the successes, the wins, if you will. And so I want to talk a little bit more about how it's been going in November. And like a lot of you who have been following my channel know, my family has been moving. We have moved. As you can see, I have a different background than normal. I'm trying out the space. We'll see if I stay here, but I was so jazzed to get my bookshelves up. Anyway, talking about November. So like I said, we were moving, and so I wasn't doing a ton of homeschool. I was doing moving school like I explained in the last one. But I have been constantly thinking about curriculum. I don't know if anybody else does this. Let me know if you do. But I've been just really mulling over things, and just as I'm setting things up or packing, just considering how well the curriculum is working for us. 1, like what's still a good fit, what's working great. 2, what's good but maybe needs some tweaking. And 3, what's just not working and why. And there's a number of reasons why something's not working. It really could be the curriculum, it's not a good fit. It could be the developmental age of my kids and their readiness for different things. It could be life situations. Hello, 3-year-old twins. My twins just had a birthday, so now they're 3-year-old twins, not 2-year-old twins, but they still are mischievous. So all of those things I have to be kind of thinking about and considering when I'm assessing and reflecting on curriculum. So all of this has been swirling in my head for months, but it's really given me the time to reflect on what has been working and what hasn't, and to work things out. So I've kind of come to some good conclusions. So this brings me to my homeschool win. What is my November homeschool win? And it is definitely that reflection has given me the time and space to assess things well, assess our curriculum fit well, instead of making emotional decisions. Instead of just being like, this is not working, I'm gonna toss it out and just find what everybody else is using. Instead of doing that, I've just given myself the time and space to work it out, let the thoughts kind of swirl and land somewhere. So I thought I would kind of take you through my reflection process to see maybe that would help some of you. So the first thing for me is to really assess what's bugging me. And I don't know if any of you are like this, but sometimes it's just like something's nagging at me. It's like not quite working. I'm not sure why. I don't have time to think about it. But that's my first and foremost, is just give myself the time to identify what it is that's bugging me, and then be able to answer, okay, well, is this a curriculum issue? Is this my child's age? Is this our current life stage issue? Is this a me issue? Is this a teacher issue? Some things that feel like easier fixes, like switching out curriculums real quick, but sometimes that doesn't get to the heart of it. So my first thing is just identifying what the problem is, seeing what kind of category it falls into. Let me give you an example of what I mean by kind of what's been swirling. So my son, he's 6, almost 7. He's been struggling to learn to read. Okay, so that is what it is. We use the curriculum Logic of English Foundations. So the things I needed to answer was, is it a curriculum problem? Can I blame the curriculum that is not a good fit for my son and switch that out? Is it my son? Is he in a developmental stage where he's not quite ready for reading, and it will click, and to give him that space? So is it that, or is it me? Am I struggling to teach learning how to read very well? It definitely is an area that I am not as confident in. So it's kind of like all those things. So I'm asking these questions. So I've found my issue. I know what's been nagging at me. I'm asking these questions. So this leads into step 2 for me, which is research the issue. With researching, say for instance, Logic of English, the creator or author of Logic of English actually has a book. I think it's called Uncovering the Logic of English, which I think I have it. Yes, it's right there. Uncovering the Logic of English. And so I can look further into her book. She also has YouTube videos. There's a Facebook page which I find a lot of value in those kinds of groups because people are often ahead of me in it and they can give me encouragement and vice versa. So I would go in there and ask some questions about what I'm seeing, what I'm finding, and hear some other moms and dads' opinions about what's going on. I can even dive deeper into early childhood development. So like, what are some cues that he's more ready to read? What are some of the ways that I can support that? Because I'm tentative to push too hard because I really want him to love reading because I love it so much. So I don't want to push in that area. I want to be wise. And so it's like, I can research that stuff. And so I did. Those are the kinds of the examples that I used for this issue I'm having. But my step 3, I would say, is to trust your instinct. So you've done a ton of research and you hear a lot of different people's opinions. And the honest reason is, like, even if some curriculum creator says you need to use it this way or everybody uses it this way, I also needed to just really trust myself because I know my son the best. I've been the one walking side by side with him and seeing the areas that he struggles the most with. So trusting that. So for example, with the logic of English, I will hop on these Facebook sites and a lot of people will say, like, trust the program, trust the system, don't supplement, don't use sight words, just keep going. You can slow down, repeat different lessons, play the games, which is all good advice. And I think what it landed out for me though is just pushing through wasn't working because I was already kind of doing that. I was listening to that advice that, like, just trust the program and keep going. But I feel like it was getting a little worse, a little worse, a little worse, a little worse, where he would fight me on it. But he would also be expressing the fact that he really wanted to learn how to read. So I knew his desire was there. He was just finding the process really frustrating. And I think that was important for me to know. And then as I'm trusting my instinct, I'm also noticing that there are certain areas in the program that cause him the most problem. And that's really reading fluency. So it's been whenever he's asked to read longer passages or the little readers, he struggles, he pushes back, he doesn't want to do it. He can do it. He just doesn't want to do it as much. And then I feel like as I keep going, I just keep piling more and more and more on him, and it gets more and more difficult. The readers get more difficult. The expectations get more difficult. And I just see him kind of weighted under that, and I didn't like that. And so to kind of conclude this example, I am not ditching Logic of English. I think it's a very good program. I really like the way it is taught. I love that it teaches all the different sounds of the phonograms and the spelling rules. I feel like it gives a solid foundation, albeit kind of a very intense, and like it get all the information at once, which I think isn't necessarily a bad thing. But for me, with him in particular, there's things I'm going to supplement, even though people say don't supplement. But how I decided to do it was I'm going to supplement with sight words and spelling practice, but only on words that we already understand how to phonetically sound it out or phonetically spell it. So he has the understanding. So these aren't sight words in the normal sense of just memorize what this looks like. I want him to have the basis of understanding why it sounds out like that, but I want him to feel more confident that he can just recognize the word kind of quickly as well as sound it out. So I'm going to kind of start incorporating a little bit more sight words as well as spelling practice. I'm thinking of using spectrum spelling because it's set up, I believe, based on spelling rules. And so we can kind of pick and choose which rules we already know and which rules we are following in our phonics program, and it can kind of tie together. And the second thing I'm doing, because he's struggling with fluency, is I'm setting aside a time when him and I can read every day. It can be a specific mommy reading time, set a timer, just read a reader. And then after that, I'm thinking of doing kind of like a sustained silent reading, so he doesn't have the pressure of verbalizing it out loud to me and getting corrected, but he can still be making strides in fluency by being exposed and working on the readers that he can definitely do, like Bob books or the Usborne My First Library. We have a bunch of those. And so that's my plan. So those two things. I hope that walkthrough was helpful to any of you. And please share any similar experiences you've had or any wisdom and advice you have for myself or for others that will read the comments. I feel like the process of reflection can just be so empowering. And I'm feeling so much more positive about my son's reading than I was before. So that is definitely a homeschool win. So I'll call it that. So that is my November homeschool win. I would love to hear yours. Think back on the month. What went really well? And please share it below. I loved reading your guys' stuff from last month. I think it's just really fun to have a moment to challenge ourselves, maybe come up with those positive things and then celebrate together. So please put those below. It feels more like a community when everybody shares their wins as well. So that is what I have for this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it, engage with it. Please consider liking it and subscribing if you like what you see. But otherwise, I will see you in the next homeschool video. All right, have a wonderful day.